Hello everyone, today is October 3, 2021. I got my Model 3 on September 30, 2020, so it's been exactly 1 year. So today I'm gonna talk about my experience in the last 1 year, my ownership experience. So I will break the video down into few topics. First, range and efficiency, then I will talk about degradation, then running cost, then all the issues that I have had and the service. And also I will talk a bit about the build quality of the car and the software updates, how my car changed since I bought it. And finally I'll just talk a bit about my likes and dislikes, and then then I'll conclude the video. So first, range and efficiency. In this 1 year I drove 22,000 kilometers, and my overall consumption is 162 watt hours per kilometer, and I have charged 3,579 kilowatt hour. Not charged, but I have consumed this amount of energy. So in the winter, it was a bit higher, as you can imagine. It was 184 watt hours per kilometer, if I remember correctly. I'll show you a picture of that. So I drove, I think, in the winter about 7,000 kilometers, and the rest I drove in the summer and spring and autumn. So most of my driving is high-speed driving, as you see in my videos, I guess. So I'm just using the car to go outside Munich and travel around and things like that. So I don't really drive within the city. So it's country road or highway. So given that, I think 162 watt hours per kilometer is quite a good consumption. So I'm quite happy with that. Now, given this consumption, I will get about 293 kilometers, I think, considering all the degradation that has happened in the car. Speaking of degradation, I did my last degradation test, I think, after 7 months of ownership. And at that time, I had close to 6% of degradation. And I haven't had the chance to do a degradation test recently, but I can show you what is the full battery range. Okay, Scan My Tesla is predicting that the full rated range would be 355. So I guess some more degradation has happened. Yeah, so it's because I will show you why it is like that. My degradation is probably relatively high because I have charged 2,863 kilowatt hours on DC, mostly supercharging, so really high speed charging, and 1,646 kilowatt hours on AC. So it's because I'm doing lots of road trips, long journeys and stuff like that. So what does it mean in the real world? It means nothing, basically. It's just some kilometers less in the rated range, and that's the rated range, so in reality it will be much lower. And it is normal that lithium-ion batteries degrade fast in the beginning, and yeah, I was expecting 5 to 6% degradation, so not really surprised at all. About the battery, I have the Panasonic battery. So I don't have the latest Model 3, so it's from the last year, the previous generation of the Model 3. So the thing with this battery is that it gets consistently good charging speed, and the bad thing about this battery is that you have to charge up to 90% to keep the battery in a good state of health. Okay, let's talk about the running cost now. Some interesting numbers. I pulled all the numbers from all the charging apps that I have, and also Tesla Supercharger. As you can see, I spent 491 euro for supercharging, and at work I pay 34 euro per month, so it's 1 year 408 euro. And then this is the charging company that I use the most, ENBW, and I spent 470 euro there. MineGo, I think I had to use it once or twice or something like that, 12 euro. Mobility Me, I think I used it once at the Ionity charger. And InCharge, this was in Sweden, it's 6 euro. Fortrums, it was also in Sweden, 11 euro. So in total, I have 1,408 euro. Just a few things about these numbers. As you can see, I'm paying 408 euros per year at work for charging, but during the last year I haven't been at work so many times, and due to corona basically, and I haven't charged there. So the fast charging costs would be less, I guess, at least at ENBW. I think I charged in the city a few times in ENBW, and whenever I get access to a fast charger, I use the ENBW charger. So these charging costs would not be so high from ENBW. I think if I regularly went to work. So next year, probably the total cost would be a bit less. So from these numbers, you can figure out what was the per kilometer cost of driving. I'll put the number somewhere on the screen. So obviously we can compare it to a gasoline car, but I don't know if it would be a fair and 100% accurate comparison right now. Last time I owned a gasoline car, it was many years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And yeah, I had a Skoda, and it was having something like 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Of consumption. And I think if you put these numbers together, if you drive 20,000 kilometers, I think you would pay in total something around 2,000 euro with the gas prices, with the petrol prices that you have in Germany. Yeah, so it's a bit cheaper, but you can do better with this charging, especially if you have access to AC charging. Next, let's talk about the issues and the service. I have had some issues. I think I talked about them in my 1 month ownership experience video. So I had to change some modules in the car, the internet connector module or something like that. I don't exactly remember how it is called, but yeah, so it was replaced. It was a bit buggy, and the signal was not great. So Tesla did it for free, and when they were working on the car, they gave me a loaner car, a Model S. Yeah, so it was a good service. Other than that, I think just before summer, I had another problem with the seats. The driver's seat was not always working with the easy entry functionality. So sometimes it would just get stuck, and I have had the experience of the Tesla mobile service for fixing this. So they came, and then they recalibrated the motors. Basically, that fixed the problem. And then what happened is that I did not write in my service request that one of my tail lights was actually full of condensation, and yeah, some water got inside, and I forgot about it. And when the guy came and he just saw the light, and he was like, "Oh, you should replace it." And he didn't have a spare one in his service car, in his work vehicle. So he drove back to Tesla service center and then got one and came back and replaced my one of the backlights. So which was quite nice service actually. So I'm quite happy with the service. Yeah, so let's now talk about the build quality a bit. There is no rattles, there is no squeaking noise, nothing. So the car is quite solid. It's very stable. And so I'm very happy with the build quality as well. As I mentioned in some of my previous videos, there are some panel gap inconsistencies, which is not a problem for me. But if you really pay attention, especially on the right door, between the passenger front door and the back door on the right side. So I'll show you a video. So the gap is a bit bigger than the gap on the left side of the car. Yeah, so I really don't have much to say about build quality. It's perfectly fine, and there are a few panel gap problems, which is I never think about them. Okay, let's now talk about software updates, one of the favorite features of the car for me. Yes, some of the major things I will talk about. I don't remember how many software updates I got since I bought the car, but I'll just talk through some of the major features. So in January last year, they just changed the whole user interface, and now you have this panel a bit bigger. It used to be a bit smaller, but now it's bigger, and the visualizations are much nicer. And if I put the car, yeah, if I put the car on drive, okay, it's complaining. You can see these numbers. So these numbers used to be a bit bigger in the previous version. So that's a pity. I think the previous version was quite refined, and the sizes of these icons were perfect actually. So yeah, even though they increased the size of this panel, they made the numbers smaller, which is, I don't know if it makes sense. And you can see that lots of space are unused here. So in my view, the card doesn't need to be so big. It can be maybe a bit smaller. I like the visualization, but it's wasting a lot of space and things like that. So maybe they can improve this a bit. I would still prefer to have this map a bit bigger, like it used to be. Yeah, but it's not really a big problem. So you get used to it, basically. One of the recent updates came with this feature. So now if you tap on this percentage number, it toggles to kilometer, and when it's in kilometer and tap on it, and it goes back to percentage. So I think this is quite useful. Previously it used to be deep in the menu. You had to go to display and things like that. Yeah, in the update before the last update, they included this thing called car wash mode. So now, yeah, it's just some convenience feature, I guess. So now you don't have to put your car to neutral manually and things like that. So you just put it on car wash mode, and then it just does all the things that it needs to do. And also when there is high pressure water on the charger doesn't automatically open, because they did something with the software. When it's on car wash mode, the charger port will not open. So I think that's also quite handy. The other thing was that now if you are in an accident, your car will take the footage of that accident automatically, so you don't have to press anything to take the footage. I think this is also quite useful. This one is also very useful if you don't have the premium connectivity. I'm actually thinking right now if I should switch, because I have lots of data in one of my phones. So yeah, so now this feature lets you stay connected to your Wi-Fi while you are driving. So previously, if you put the car on drive, if you are connected to Wi-Fi, it will get disconnected, but now you will still stay connected. So that's also good. And there are many updates with regards to games and stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't really know much about the games. Yeah, some other changes. Obviously, there are more superchargers now. So what Tesla is doing is Tesla is not really visualizing all the superchargers like they used to when you are looking at the map. So now if you want to look at the chargers, you have to press here, and I don't really know how I feel about it. So I think they are pulling this menu. I don't really know if it is necessary to pull the whole menu here. So it's a lot of space that they're actually covering on the map. Previously it was much better actually. So it was much bigger map, and then yeah, you could see all the supercharger. But I do understand that there are more and more superchargers now. So if you put all the superchargers all the time on the map, it becomes a bit too much. But I don't know if they need to show this. So maybe there could be one option just to see the chargers. Then maybe if you click that twice, then you pull the menu, or maybe just keeping like an option to remove this menu. That would be nice, because now the map is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So yeah, don't know if it's useful. Yeah, so this is something that they changed just recently. I don't exactly remember when, but they did change it. Yeah, so some other things. As you remember, I made some videos with navigation on Autopilot. It was free, and there was no notification actually from Tesla that it was free for me. So it was basically a sales attempt, I guess. So they rolled out this enhanced Autopilot, especially in Germany, for many people, just for 1 month. So it was just for the customers to try it out. So I didn't decide to keep it. So it cost 3,800 euro, and it's a bit gimmicky, I would say. I'll put some videos from the time when I had it. So you have the parking. The parking is, I would say, the parallel parking is maybe useful sometimes, but it can only do parallel parking where you can easily do parallel parking. So if it could do the difficult parallel parking, then it would be useful, I guess. I don't know, Xpeng parking is way better, I guess. And for the vertical parking, you need to have two cars on both sides, otherwise it doesn't detect the parking spot. So that's basically really not useful. So the auto parking feature is really not useful, I guess. Not up to the mark at this point. But I believe these features will keep improving over time. But I don't know if it's worth 3,800 euro right now. So the only thing that you get, I think, is the most useful thing, I should say, you get right now is the auto lane change, which is, I think, quite good also in Germany. So you have to use the Mad Max mode in Germany. Mad Max mode is keeping up with the drivers here. Yeah, I don't really feel the need for having autopilot, the enhanced autopilot right now. So I got used to changing lanes and putting autopilot again, the normal autopilot again. So we'll see. If there is a discount at some point, I will maybe get it just for the lane change. The other things, not so useful, at least for me. Yeah, I forgot. After just 1 week after I bought the car, I think the first software update had these functionalities like your visualization of your traffic lights and things like that, and those things improved a lot over the last year. So now most of the times the traffic light recognition system works, and I think the speed adjustments are slowly improving, but yeah, so still there is a lot of problems with phantom braking. But yes, I mean, other than that, I think the autopilot works quite well. The phantom brake is the main problem. I hope something will be done, but I hear that the new versions of Tesla are without any radar. So not so sure how it will pan out. I have to test. So the idea is that the phantom braking will go away with the camera-based autopilot, fully camera-based autopilot. Yeah, so let's talk about likes and dislikes. Overall, I'm really happy with the car so far. Let's break it down and talk about each of the likes and dislikes. So the thing I really like is this infotainment system. It's amazing. I have never used a car which had such a great infotainment system, and you do everything with touch. So that's also a really good thing for me. I know some people don't like like doing everything with the touch, but I do like it. So for me, this is a good feature. And also the car has lots of space and supercharger network. This is the third one that I really like. So first, the infotainment system and the software of the car, basically. Then the second is the space. I think there is a lot of space, and I do lots of trips, and I need space during those trips. So it's quite spacious. Number three is the supercharging network. I think this is fantastic. So we literally don't have to think about charging the car. So the car is just navigating you where you need to charge, and the density of the superchargers are increasing every day, every month in most countries in Europe. So yeah, it's really hassle-free charging. And then software updates, your car is improving all the time. I talked about it many times, and you get all of them for free. Yeah. And the last one, I would say the autopilot. So autopilot is really great when you are driving long distances. Okay, let's now talk about dislikes. I don't have many dislikes. I think the only thing that I have is it does not have. Yeah, I have a few actually. Yeah, I have probably 2 or 3. It does not have this instrument cluster. Oh. Okay. Okay, it went into easy entry mode. I think I've been not doing anything with the car for a long time. Anyway, so the thing that I don't like is that it doesn't have the instrument cluster. So I still did not get used to. Well, I got used to it, but what I mean is that this speed in the middle of the car. So yeah, it's not so intuitive. Well, they did some studies like you don't have to move your eyes so much, but the thing is that we learned driving with cars with that kind of. Most people aren't driving with cars with that kind of instrument cluster which is in front of you. So it takes a lot of time, and I actually. Yeah, I don't really need the instrument cluster per se if there was at least a head-up display in front and the speed was showing there and some more information. So Tesla, I think, is a high-tech car. You'd agree with that. So it is a bit strange that they did not include at least a head-up display. So yeah, I don't know how much money they're saving doing that, but yeah. So a head-up display or some sort of instrument cluster would be really good. The other thing is blind spot checking. So yeah, I know Tesla is talking about autonomous cars and stuff like that, but we are still driving the car, so it would be nice if there was some lights there for the blind spot monitoring. Most cars, they have it these days. With Tesla, you have to look into this screen to see if there is a car in the blind spot. So it's not so useful to have it here. So it's better to have the blind spot monitoring system somewhere near the mirrors, so that when you're moving the head to look into the mirror, you actually see if there is something in the blind spot. So yeah, I think if there was a better blind spot monitoring system, it would be nice. Last thing is, I would say that I don't like is that there is no cover on this roof. So if you look into the Volkswagen cars, the ID cars, you'll see that they have this nice cover that blocks the sun. So in the summer, when it's really sunny, it gets quite hot here. And it's a bit strange because you feel cold here because of the AC, and it's hot here. So yeah, not a good feeling. It would be nice if they had it with the car. I know you can buy this flimsy thing, but that's so clumsy, so you have to put it manually like this. So if they could fit something here and that would just slide like this, that would be really great. Yeah. So yeah, these are my dislikes. Yeah, so let's conclude. So I'm very happy with the car. For the last 12 months I have had it. So yeah, fantastic experience. Supercharging is great. The comfort in the car is great, and long distance trips is really easy. So yeah, really happy. A few things that I don't like, they're not really major things, so you can live with them. So that's all for this video. I hope you liked this video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.